times people get caught cheating on paternity court.
We was all hanging out, having a good time, drinking. The guy was ugly. I didn't even like him. It was the best sex of my life, I will admit that.
So, Miss Burns, tell me today, who do you want to be with? You got half the children calling him daddy, the other half calling him daddy. He loves you. He look like he about through with you. I don't know what you want to do.
Miss Tucker and Miss Riley were entangled in a tale of alleged affairs, confused pregnancies, and a desperate quest for the truth. Yep, the two women, the baby mama and the supposed grandma, were ready to fight this paternity.
You admit to having a one-night stand with one potential father, as well as a month-long affair with another man.
Yes, Your
While
Honor.
married to Mr. Riley. Paternity tests have been administered on 2 of the men, and we will reveal those results today.
So we've got Mrs. Riley, the multitasking maven who managed a one-night stand and a 1-month-long affair while juggling her marriage. Wow! Mama Tucker's here, calling her son's wife a very colorful name. Oh, the whole scene just screamed drama.
Son is married to a I'm not a
Let's get some order, please.
willfully had an affair numerous times, lived with the man, has no clue who the father is, or we wouldn't be here today. At least I'm finding out.
Hopefully,
when we do find out who the father is, he's not going home with her, he's coming home with me.
Bucks up, folks! Because Mama Tucker was on a mission to break up this love fest, claiming her son's wife was the son of betrayal. Meanwhile, the wifey was defending herself like a courtroom diva. Oh, she was a diva through and through, just waiting to be canceled.
In your statement, you admitted to a one-night stand, so
Yes, I did.
tell me what happened.
What happened, me and him was fighting. It got escalated. I called a family member. They helped me move some things in, and I moved out. We was all hanging out, having a good time, drinking. The guy was ugly. I didn't even like him. It was the best sex of my life, I will admit that.
Next up, we get to see a recorded statement from the infamous affair. But the highlight of that was the way he described the interaction in just 2 bullet points. And there went Mrs. Riley, trying desperately to not come out as the villain.
How did you end up back with this boyfriend?
I went back to my husband. I thought everything was gonna be better. He kept telling me that we're working on our marriage, he'll treat me right, and things kept escalating. I stayed with the boyfriend at a hotel for 2 weeks.
You were at a hotel for 2 weeks.
I left my husband for the boyfriend. I kept telling the boyfriend I miss my husband. I want to be with him. That's who I've been with for 5 years of my life.
Let's take the drama a notch higher, shall we? Oh yeah, there was more drama. The wifey had a habit of running to back Mr. Riley after all her escapades, but this time she didn't come back to the house alone. Oh, the poor guy was too kind for his good.
Mr. Riley, you let
They
the
became
boyfriend.
friends. They went to the casino
Move in.
and everything together. They
Yeah,
was
I
like
felt
buddies.
bad for him. She told me that he didn't have no place to go.
Mr. Riley, I think you may be too kind for your How long did you live at your marital home with your boyfriend and your husband?
About a month.
Oh, this woman was devious. So for that month, the defendant's multitasking talent showed as she lived with both her hubby and her boyfriend. Yep, cringe all you want, it happened. It's a cat fight of epic proportions, and we're sipping the drama like fine wine here.
She was sleeping with them both, yeah.
You slept with them both during that time?
Yes, I will admit to that because I was confused. Hello? I told you.
Were you aware that she was sleeping
Yes,
with
he
the
was.
boyfriend?
Well, one night she'd sleep with him on the couch, and then the next night she'd
They
be like,
both
I'm with
knew.
you, and then she'd sleep in the bed with me.
After all the wife puts him through, Mr. Riley still took her back. Boy, was he a saint. But now he has doubts. However, the mother dearest seemed to be more invested in this relationship than they. And yep, the baby mama did not like that.
The last time I heard, marriage was between a man and a woman, not a man, a woman, and the mother. So you really shouldn't have been in the relationship ever.
I should still be able to have contact with my son. He is 20-something years old. He can
And
do
we're
what
married.
he wants. He can do what he... Oh, really?
Yes,
You were married
really.
when you got pregnant, too.
In a last-ditch effort, the wifey again tried her hardest to justify her actions. Yep, she was still on that and was holding her ground. Oh, she had the audacity to do that. But no worries, because the judge put her in her place.
He never gave me the attention
He's been
I
there.
needed.
How's he not been there? That's
You're
how
a whole
I know.
different
I will
thing. You don't
say
know
this,
nothing.
he most certainly gave you a lot of forgiveness, and I'm not
he
sure.
did. Yeah, that's
we should do from here is to get the results.
Dramatic climax alert! DNA results were in, and it was time to spill the beans on this whole paternity fiasco. Emotions were running wild. Will Mrs. Will Riley's love triangle survive? We shall find out.
Mr. Riley, you are not the father.
That's okay. He'll still be the dad no matter what.
Yeah.
Meet Mr. Powell, a dude navigating the wild terrain of the paternity court scene. Just 3 months into matrimonial bliss, he's got this gut feeling that his wifey, Miss Burns, might have taken a detour. Hold on, it gets juicier. She didn't just stroll away, she straight up packed her bags and shacked up with some other dude.
Mr. Powell had a job and then he'd lose his job. I figured everything was put off on me. I have 3 other children.
You don't provide for your children, your mother does.
I do provide for my children. I pay child support.
How do you pay child support if you don't have a job yourself?
Can you believe the nerve of this woman? She straight up spilled the beans about her little escapades to her husband. No beating around the bush. But here's the kicker. Miss Burns already had a kid with Mr. Jones, the other guy. Talk about a questionable move. I mean, seriously, what was she thinking? Just listen to this whole confusing mess for yourself.
How many men took the test?
Besides him, he'd be the second one.
Actually, the lady that did the testing actually said that I was the third person to have this DNA test done on the child.
So was he the second or the third, Miss Burns?
He was the second. That was Nate.
Then what happened?
We take her to see Mr. Jones, me and a mutual friend of mine and Mr. Powell's.
Oh, the drama unfolds. Just as Mr. Powell realized his marital mishaps, he reached out to Miss Burns, begging her to return. But here's the twist. She dropped the bombshell, admitting she's already indulged in unprotected beep. Oh boy, how foolish can this get?
We were having sex around the time that she got pregnant.
During the time of conception, you were still having sex?
I don't know if she is lying about the date of conception or not.
You think that she may just be saying the time of conception was at the time when she was only having sex with him?
Right.
Get ready for the suspense. Mr. Powell, catching wind of his wife's little fling with Mr. Jones, was on an emotional roller coaster when he found out about the pregnancy. But hold up, here's the kicker. In another mind-blowing revelation, our girl Miss Burns has been throwing hands with the dude up to this day. Say what?
When you said you had sex with Ashley Burns, you answered no. The lie detector determined you were telling. I see a little nervous jitter down there. This is courtroom, and if you're gonna tell the truth, this is the place you do it. Have you had sex with Mr. Powell?
Nope.
Miss Burns sure knows how to spice things up. Not only did she have her thing going on with Mr. Jones, but hold your hats, she also dipped her toes into the waters of infidelity right within that relationship. Now it looks like Mr. Jones might just find himself on the plaintiff's squad. Talk about a wild ride.
Mr. Jones, do you believe Lucas is yours?
I have doubts, Your Honor, because like I said previously, you know, we do have a 6-year-old together. After what I've heard today, Your Honor, I hope it's Mr. Powell.
Really?
And
Why
Your
do you
Honor,
say that?
Your Honor, because like I said, Your Honor, I have 3 kids.
Better late than never, right? But this craziness from our foolish defendant has even gotten on Judge Lake's last nerve. Taking stock of the situation, it seems like the baby mama is in for some serious schooling from her. Talk about a reality check.
So, Ms. Burns, tell me today, who do you want to be with? You got half the children calling him daddy, the other half calling him daddy. He loves you. He look like he about through with you. I don't know what you want to do.
I want to be with Mr. Jones, but if he chooses otherwise, then so be it, and I'll go on without everybody.
The paternity drama was about to hit its climax as the DNA results finally rolled in. Emotions were soaring and the suspense had everyone on edge. So, crank up those volumes and buckle up, because the paternity police are in town to drop the ultimate bombshell.
Mr. Jones, you are his father.
Sorry, man, I was rooting for you, bro.
In a courtroom that was probably smaller than your bathroom, the dramatic case of Smith versus Booker unfolded. It was a real nail-biter, let me tell ya. Miss Smith, the master of ceremonies for this circus, was there to find out who the lucky winner of the Is It Your Baby?
Why your fiance may not be your child's biological father.
Me and Lamontre met back in college, but at that time I was with my ex-boyfriend. When me and my ex-boyfriend ended up breaking up, I talked to Lamontre and I invited him to my birthday party a few days after we had sex.
Miss Smith claimed that she went to not one, not two, but 3 different doctors during her pregnancy. These doctors, probably psychic or something, gave her due dates that were all over the place. It's like they were using a magic 8-ball to predict when the baby was due.
Okay, in September, these are the dates I actually went to the doctor, and they gave me a due date of April 9th. And they said I was 8 or 9 weeks pregnant.
2 appointments, you're feeling like it's likely it could be the exes, and you're telling Mr. Brooker that too.
Right.
But then in walked doctor number 3 with an ultrasound wand, and he was all like, surprise, surprise, it's May 13th. Now, how's that for a roller coaster ride, huh? You gotta admit it's a real head scratcher, this pregnancy math stuff.
I was stating that me and Mr. Brooker had sex August on the 14th. I went to the doctor and they gave me a date of May 13th. And at that time, I'm like, that corresponds with the time me and him started having sex.
When Lemon Tray Jr. made his grand entrance into the world 2 months earlier, the confusion hit a whole new level. Doctors couldn't decide if he was 1 or 2 months premature. It's like a medical game of guess the baby's age. Maybe they should have tried to ID him at the entrance like they do in a bar.
Well, the question is really, though, you said, well, 2 months early based on the 3rd due date, but only a month early based upon the first 2 appointments.
Exactly.
Well, I might have a gut feeling that Miss Smith was only intimate with the 2 men she mentioned. And you know, for the obvious reasons, because I believe someone might be on a spear of infidelity and lying. Anyways, for this mystery wagon, we need an expert opinion.
First trimester ultrasound is going to be the most accurate way that you can date a pregnancy. And so that would make the date of conception in mid to late August.
Which then points towards Mr. Brooker being the father.
Now, you won't believe this one. Mr. Booker, the potential baby daddy, decided to play scientist and conducted a DNA test when Lemon Tray was a mere 2 days old, right there in the NIC unit. And the best part? The nurse advised him to wait, but he was like, nah, I've got this.
Some of them, because like the beginning of them I didn't go to because I didn't know until she called me after the 3rd appointment. And I gave her my name, but I didn't sign a birth certificate because of the DNA test.
Well, Mr. Booker saying that seems like stating that you are convinced the Earth is flat while standing on a round globe. But let's not forget Miss Smith, who wanted another DNA test because she just couldn't believe the one she had. And that's why we were here. So, Judge, can we perform the magic trick one more time?
Mr. Brooker, you are not his father.
A lot of things from Mr. Wiggins' past are going to haunt him forever. Little did this man know that a woman from his past, Miss Davis, will keep coming back into his life. Her only mission, to reveal the secret he's been keeping hidden for a long time.
Me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch. I became a little antsy, I guess for lack of better terms. Miss Davis was working for a family member of mine and I seen her and she was looking good. She was walking up some stairs and she had on some really tight pants and approached her. It was never supposed to be anything else more than just sex.
Does having a rough patch with your wife mean you go behind her back? For 2 years, Mr. Wiggins continued the affair with Miss Davis, and guess what? His wife never knew. This secret surely puts a strain on their relationship. What does Mr. Wiggins want to do now?
Your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, you can convince your ex-wife, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to try to put the family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the stakes are high. So Miss Davis ended up starting a relationship with a married man. He was separated at the time.
2.5 years we was together.
Where Mr. Wiggins was hoping to keep it to having a good time in bed, it turns out there were some consequences. Miss Davis ended up becoming pregnant, and all the time he kept telling her he'll divorce his wife and marry her instead. Instead, he ended up making both of them pregnant at the same time.
They were pregnant at the same time, your wife and your mistress.
They were, Your Honor.
How did you find out Miss Davis was pregnant?
So she kind of told people, and then I asked her to let me tell my wife, so I did what I had to do, I felt I needed to do.
2.5 years, how we're not together?
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
But the most heartbreaking thing was that the poor wife had no idea that this was happening. How did she find out about this sad secret? Miss Davis ended up causing havoc by revealing the secret to his wife on Facebook. The question now remains, why does Mr. Wiggins think the baby's not his?
Miss Davis told her she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which caused a lot of havoc in my life. And then you're telling me, okay, that, I have a baby by you when you're sleeping with another guy. That's what makes me
I never slept with no one.
In the entire testimony, Mr. Wiggins has claimed he never had feelings for Miss Davis. That surely breaks her heart, but if that's the case, why was he so upset about Miss Davis sleeping with another man? Moreover, he accuses Miss Davis of forging the birth certificate as well.
Miss Davis, did you know the young woman in the hospital? Were you all friends?
No, Your Honor.
You say this birthday issue is just a typo?
That he wrote.
Do you think he wrote his wrong birthday on purpose?
Right. When I seen it, when we got the birth certificate, I let him know that whatever he signed it wrong. He was supposed to go get it fixed.
Yet, the worst secret to be revealed is when Miss Davis confesses that Mr. Wiggins is a liar. Since day one, he kept begging her to have his babies. Now, is that something a married man should do? For God's sake, he already had 2 kids with his wife. Where did it all go wrong?
Before we even conceived, that's all you asked for was a baby. Was another baby.
I had 2
was
children,
another
Your Honor.
baby.
I didn't need any more children.
He
I
wanted
didn't need
me
any more children.
because of my body, and he wanted a baby from me.
That
to
is
keep
all I
me.
wanted, Your Honor.
Yes, you did.
Oh my goodness.
From day
So
one.
you're saying now he's a married man and he's asking you to have his child?
From day one.
In the beginning, Mr. Wiggins was pretty happy to be around baby Aubrey, but with time, it seemed like he wanted nothing to do with it. Their scandalous secrets have caused enough damage to a marriage. Maybe it's time for the results to come out.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father.